Okay, so on page navigation, and I just want to point out that the settings for this are the same inside all the menu stacks. In this particular example, I'm just going to be using a straight up, just a normal menu, but all the settings are identical for any of the menu stacks. Okay, so inside the menu stack, we're going to turn on page navigation. This tells Foundation that the menu items in here are linking to parts of this page. Okay, they're not linking out, they're linking to parts of this page. And when you turn that on, you'll see that we get a bunch of other settings down here. Okay, and this is the first one is the animation, so like kind of how the page scrolls. You can play around with these, see which ones you like. I tend to like the ease in out ones. Ease in out cubics kind of one I like. Any of the ease in out are my favorite, I think, for at least for scrolling. But depending on what you want, the speed and the variation of the speed is very different. So play around with them. Next is the speed. How long does it take to scroll to a particular point? Then you can have offsets. So like, scroll 100 pixels from the top and stuff like that. And threshold is how many pixels away from the menu item until it triggers that menu item to be active. Okay. Then last but not least, we can actually do deep linking and update history so that, whenever you click on this, it'll actually updates the browser history with that hashtag. Okay. Those are off by default. I personally don't like those. But some websites like them, and maybe there's some SEO reasons or something you want, users to be able to go back and forward in their browser history to visit various parts of your page. Okay. So that's all that is on the menu side. Okay. In the menu links, all you need to do is just like you're linking to an anchor on the page. So if you look at this link here, it's just #1. And 1 is the name of the anchor that we're linking to. Okay. So on and so forth. We have two links to #2. Now, how do we create these internal markers on our page? There's two different ways. First off, you see at the very top of this page, I have one, and it uses the anchor stack. Okay. It is a part of the navigation, stacks anchor. So here it is. It is under navigation. It's called anchor, and it has zero visual representation on the page. It's completely invisible. It just points to an anchor. It creates an anchor on the page, and you give it your ID. So you don't put the hashtags here when you define your anchor. That's only in the links. Okay. So here we go. We put in our anchor ID, and we're good to go. The other way is kind of naturally, instead of having to add anchors all over the place, we're going to be naturally using containers a lot, right? To kind of divvy up sections of our web page. So for example, this section here is section 1. Okay. So in this container, I set the anchor ID, and containers are the only other stacks that have this. Okay. You can set the anchor ID in this container to be 1. And then here I have section 2, and that is set to obviously be anchor ID 2. And then we have so on and so forth, 3, 4, and 5. Now at the bottom, I wanted to show you how we can actually use buttons to link to on-page navigation as well. And this is an anchor button. Okay, not to be confused. Again, there is an anchor stack that is part of the navigation. That is where you can define the point. Okay, you can use that or a container. Don't use both. Just use one or the other. Okay, now if I scroll down, let's look. Here's the anchor button. Okay, so this is the anchor button. Okay, so when we load the anchor button, you'll notice that as a part of the anchor button, all you have to do is give it the anchor ID. Okay, there's no tricky hashtags or anything. Just put in the anchor ID. That's it. Okay, and then you can set smooth scroll if you want that smooth scroll. If you don't turn on smooth scroll, it's just gonna link to that point directly. It's just gonna be immediate. There's zero animation at all. Okay. And then you set similar to the menu, you can set your animation effect, your speed, and your offsets. Okay. So let's preview this to see how it works. Right. So here we have the page. Obviously, I have a bunch of swatches that kind of just make these sections big, right? So that we have a page to scroll through. And if I click on various things, you'll notice that the animation is very nice, right? It just scrolls to our various point. And if I click on the button at the bottom, the anchor button, it takes us all the way back up to the top.